Well, hello everybody. Matt over at Safari P. I am glad that a lot of you could join me today because we got a good crowd in here. We are going to be talking about UAD 3.6 today. I know it's what everyone is dreading, but you really shouldn't dread it. Um, a couple of things. We just finally were able to put out our press release today, but Appraise-It Pro was used to submit the very first actual live production UAD 3.6 report. It happened last Friday. We wanted to put out a press release then, but we had to wait for Fannie and Freddie to give us approval on all the language. But we got that today and we put it out. If you want to read the press release, you can just go to blog.sfrep.com. I also put a link to it in the chat. Speaking of the chat, I do want you guys to ask any questions that you might have in that chat. Okay. I'm just trying to pull it up here because I forgot to do that. But I do want to hear from you guys. And what I'm going to do with this webinar is we're going to kind of go over this, and then I want to have a lot of time at the end for questions. Okay. Now, this is not CE. I am not going to be teaching you how to fill out or what you should say in a UAD 3.6 report. I am not qualified for that. I don't do CE training. But we're going to talk about, once you've gone out and you've got all the information that you need, how you can use Appraise-It Pro to fill out that report and submit it. We're also going to be talking about some of our plans, a couple of things that are a little bit new, and some of you may not know about it. On the topic of mobile apps, this is some housekeeping stuff we'll get out of the way real quick. On the topic of mobile apps, we have inked a deal with an existing mobile app called Instaplan. It's by McKenna. And that we're hoping to bring out so that you guys can start using it for UAD 2.6 reports next month. And then we're pretty confident that we'll have it ready to go for UAD 3.6 reports in January. Instaplan is an app that you can actually download right now from the iOS App Store, from the Apple App Store. It will only work on an iPad Pro or an iPhone Pro or Pro Max. And that is because it uses the LiDAR sensor. So you can go ahead and download that now and create an account and start playing around with it. I don't know anything about pricing yet, but it is a really slick app. We had it demoed for us Tuesday, I think it was. And basically you just walk through the house and just point your phone around and it starts grabbing where all the corners are and starts, building out, and it fleshes out your entire sketch for you. And it is accurate within an inch. So really cool app. I'm really looking forward to playing around with it and then eventually showing you guys. As a matter of fact, where can I get it? Here it is. I got one of these fancy little things from Best Buy the other day. This is an Elgato, so I'll be able to plug my iPad into the computer and be able to show you guys live how that app works. So that is coming. Our other app that we're developing with Apex Portal, we're hoping to have that out probably around January as well. So you're going to have two options on which mobile app that you want to use, or you can choose not to use a mobile app at all, because you'll be able to, we'll have, I made a blog post about this as well. If you want to go to blog.sfrep.com, you'll also be able to use Appraise-It Pro in a mobile mode that you can use on your Surface or whatever other Windows tablet that you might have, or convertible. And we'll have printable checklists that you can use as well. So we're going to have you covered on that. All right, so let's jump in to doing your very first UAD 3.6 report, because you can now tell your lenders and AMCs that you work with that you can actually do a UAD 3.6 report with Appraise-It Pro. That being said, it is a bit of a bare bones experience right now. We've got sketching working with it, but things like the comp manager and a couple other things aren't yet working with it. That's going to be in the next release, probably going to be late this month, early next month that stuff starts working. And of course, we don't have a mobile app yet, so it is a bare bones experience, but you can most certainly do it. And we're going to show you how it's done. Now, a couple things that I would definitely recommend for you is going to be going to the Fannie Mae website. Okay. All you have to do, you just go to fanniemae.com/UAD. That's fanniemae.com/UAD. It'll bring you to this page right here. And you're going to scroll down to the kind of towards the bottom here. And this is all of your documentation for UAD 3.6. You don't have to worry about all of these. The only one that you really want to have is this one right here, Appendix F1, URAR Reference Guide. Okay, now I've already pre-downloaded it, and I've got it right here on my desktop. You're going to want to save it and put it on your desktop as well. When you open this, in whatever UAD, or excuse me, whatever PDF reader that you have, I use Foxit Reader. If you don't have a good PDF reader, I can very much recommend Foxit Reader, Foxit PDF Reader. That's what I use, but you can do this with Adobe Acrobat as well. Patricia was asking, there are 3 Instaplan in the App Store. It's the Instaplan that says that it's done by McKenna, MAKENA, McKenna. That's the one you want to get. The reason you're going to want it is hopefully you have more than one monitor. I would put this on one of your other monitors. The reason you're going to want this is that you can use this little search up here in the upper right-hand corner in Adobe Acrobat. There'll be a search somewhere in there where you can actually do keyword searches. This is going to be your best friend. Okay. And I'll tell you why. Like, basically you can type in, if you're in a field somewhere in the report and you don't know what is supposed to go in that field, you can just type in the name of the field and it's going to jump you to this guide, and the guide will tell you exactly what they want in that field. Now, we will eventually have help text that will go in there and basically tell you the same thing, but we don't have that available just yet. So you can have this the PDF open, and it's going to be a godsend for you in trying in getting these different fields filled out and done. Okay, so definitely have that with you. Let me get Appraise-It Pro pulled back up here. Okay, when you start your UAD 3.6 report, you're going to do it just like you did a UAD 2.6 report, and it's listed here. Here's the UAD 2.6, and then here's the UAD 3.6 public beta. Once again, remember, right now, bare bones experience, but it is going to keep improving as we get into early 2026. By about mid-January of 2026, it should be quite fleshed out for you. Okay. Now, there are 3 different report types for UAD 3.6. There is a UAD completion report. There is the UAD restricted appraisal update report. So these are the update and completion reports. And then there's the URAR. There is no condo form. There is no 2055. All that's gone away. There is one report to rule them all, and that is the UAD 3.6 dynamic URAR. Okay. Now, doing templates works just like it did in the regular Appraise-It Pro and the regular UAD 2.6 reports. You can create a template. It will show up over here, but if you double click here, it's going to open up the blank template for you. Okay. So that's what we're going to do here. Now, things look very similar. If you've not played around with this, this is going to be very, very familiar with you. This isn't rocket science, trust me. Over here on the left-hand side, we still have our report panel. We still have our validator panel. We still have the responses panel, and we have the format panel. And if I come over here to subject property and I go to the city field, the same responses that I had set up in UAD 2.6 are going to be available to me in UAD 3.6 if there is a direct example or correlating field that there was in UAD 2.6 and UAD 3.6. A lot of these fields are going to be very different or going to be new, so they're going to have their own responses in there as well. So just keep that in mind. Now, a couple of differences and we still have tab browsing up here at the top too. Now, a couple of differences that you will probably notice pretty quickly with the UAD 3.6 in the report panel, you cannot move these items around. So the GSEs want an appraisal report to be in the same order every time it's done. They don't want a reader of an appraisal report, whether it's the buyer, the seller, the lender, whoever, to be able to tell that it was made in any given software. A report that was made in Bradford software or that was made in a la mode will look identical to a report that you do in Appraise-It Pro. There will be no difference. And so they have set that this is the order that you're going to be dealing with. So you can't move these around anymore. So the sketch is always going to be the fourth thing in there. Now, there are some things that will add in as you fill out your report, but it's always going to be in the same order. All right. Now, it's very important for you to know that the order that this is in is the most beneficial order for the client and for the end reader, the buyer and the seller. This is going to make the most sense for them to read a printout paper version of this report. It is not necessarily the order that's best for you when you're filling out your report. So keep that in mind, that you're not necessarily going to start here, then go here, then go here, then go here. You may, and you can need to go and jump around the report. So you can fill this out in any way that you wish. I would recommend filling out the assignment information in the subject property sections first, but then you can jump around and you can fill it out in any other order that you wish. Keep in mind, the first time that you do one of these reports, it's going to be a slog. It's very different. You're not familiar with it. Don't get overly frustrated. Remember, you can contact our tech support. You guys know the phone number. Let me pull it up here if you don't, but where's the tech phone number? Yeah, there it is. 800-644-4051, or email them tech@sfrep.com. You guys know these numbers by heart, I'm sure. But they can help you out with this. But it's going to be a little bit of a slog. But we're going to start at the beginning. It's always the best place to start. And what I want to do is I want to show you how the dynamic nature of the report works in Appraise-It Pro. ACI and Bradford, they chose to do more of a TurboTax, what they call a wizard interface, where you kind of give it some information, click next, give it some more information, click next. We're having you fill out the report just like you have for decades. What you see is what you get. This is a graphical representation of the printed version of the report. So the first thing I want to do, I'm actually going to jump to a different section here, and that's going to be the sales contract section, because this is the place that I love to show how the dynamic nature of the report works. So in this case, in Appraise-It Pro, with this report, blank report, there is no sales contract in here right now. So this is kind of a placeholder, and it says, is there a sales contract? Yes or no. Right now, no is checked. If I were to print out this report or deliver this report right now, this would not be included. It's just for your reference here. There's a little placeholder here. But as soon as I check yes, now things start filling in and happening. I'm going to keep checking yes. More things are going to start to fill in here. And if you've done any of my webinars on the UAD 3.6 and Appraise-It Pro, I've already gone over this before, but bear with me. There are some people that haven't done one of these reports yet, or haven't done one of these webinars yet. The UAD 3.6 is very heavy on checkboxes and pull downs and date pickers. And all of that is in this page. This is why I like to use it. So for instance, here is a text box, okay? Total sales concessions. Every text box, no matter where it is or what it is, every text box in the UAD 3.6 interface is dynamic. So as I start typing in information here, as it needs to, the box just keeps getting bigger. And so the cool thing about this is that on a photo page, if you add a photo of some siding that has been damaged and you want to talk a little bit about what needs to be done to fix it, or what your opinion is, or how it's affecting the value, whatever it is, you have the ability to have the little text box next to the photo, so everything is in context, in situ. It's right there, where you can actually talk about that, and you can take as much time and as much space as you need to talk about that. That box is just going to get bigger. Okay. Now, next question usually is there a limit? Yes, there is. It's set by the GSEs, but they have set it to a point where they say that it should not be a problem for you. So they've set that limit. It's different for every field, but they've set it high enough so where you should not encounter that limit. If you do start encountering that limit, I would report it to us. We'll send it up the food chain to the GSEs and they can make a change. This is a very changeable format. They've made it very, very changeable so that when they determine that something needs to be changed, it's very easy to do it. And then here's another text box. This will be the same way. I could just keep on typing here. Now, contract price will come up here. We'll say it's $500,000. And then if I need to put a date, I can either, just like I did in the regular UAD 2.6, I could just type the date in the proper UAD format, but I can also use this little date picker here. And we'll say it was on Sunday the 1st. Transfer terms, I don't know, we'll just say it's a short sale. Somebody wasn't able to pay their mortgage, so we're doing a short sale. Now, the other thing that is interesting here is going to be sales contract exhibits. All right. This is where things are a little rough around the edges. All right. Coming up soon, you will be able, this is where you're going to put your exhibit pages. Most of the time, that's probably going to be a PDF. We do not have the PDF import process done just yet. It's going to be added within the next month, maybe 2 months, but it's not in there yet. But what we have done is we've made it about as easy as it possibly can. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you right now is the GSEs do not want 30, 40, 50-page PDFs put into this report. Please do not do that. That is going to cause the report to balloon up in size. And the reason for that is that, and I'll go over this a little bit more in depth at the end when we're pretty much done with this, but the final product, when you export this so that it can be uploaded to a website, to a portal, it's not going to be an XML file anymore. It's going to be a zip file. Hopefully all of us who have been using computers for long enough know what a zip file is. It's a little container and it's a little compressed container file. Inside that zip file is going to be the XML of the appraisal report, a PDF of the appraisal report, and all of the photos and exhibits that were in the report. And an exhibit is usually going to be something like a PDF or a scan or something like that. But they all have to be JPEGs. So to make your life easier, we're going to take a PDF. Let's say you have a 3-page PDF that you want to put into the report. We're going to take that PDF and we're going to convert it to a JPEG for you automatically. So 3-page PDF, 3 JPEG images. Problem with JPEGs though, they're compressed images, but there's not really a lot of compression you can do when it's black text on a white background. So the more of those that you add to your report, the bigger your report's going to be because they can't really be compressed all that much. So they're going to end up being fairly large JPEGs. So keep that in mind. Now for right now, if you need to add a exhibit page, let's say you have a PDF and you want to add one of those PDF images into the report. So here's how you're going to do that. And remember, this is only going to be for about the next month or so until we get the PDF importation built in. But what I'm going to do here is I have a sample demo PDF here that I'm going to pull up. Now, this is just gibberish. You can read it all you want, but it doesn't really say anything. This is just for example purposes. Now, I'm doing this in the Fox-It reader, once again. But this is roughly the same in the Adobe Reader or whatever reader that you might have. It does not work in the web browsers though. So I would recommend if you've been looking at your PDFs, when you double click on it, if it opens up in Microsoft Edge browser or if it opens up in the Chrome browser, get yourself a true PDF reader. Once again, I really like Fox-It PDF reader, F-O-X-I-T. In Fox-It, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a snapshot. And then you see I've got a little plus sign here, and I'm just going to pull that over the page that I want to put into the report. And you'll see that it highlights it in blue, and then it says the selected area has been copied to the clipboard. I'm going to say OK. And now I'm going to flip back over to Appraise-It Pro. I'm going to click on Add Remove Images. Remember, exhibits are images. And when I do that, it brings up this browser here, okay? And this looks very similar if you've ever used the image manager. It's very similar to the image manager. And what I'm going to do, instead of dragging a photo over here into the report, I'm going to say paste from clipboard. There it is. And now I'm going to close. And there you go. See, it says add or remove images, and it says I have one image in there. Now, in the coming months, we're going to have inline thumbnails for everything that you add for a given section. So you would actually see a little thumbnail of what you have attached here. But just remember, while we're showing you this particular appraisal in or as a graphical representation of the report, it's still dynamic in nature. So you're still filling out an electronic report. So you're gonna basically do your little attachments and they'll show up as thumbnails, but they'll actually show up as exhibit pages in the final report. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. So if I wanted to see what image was actually in there, I just click on it and there it is. And I could remove it by hitting X there, close, and now the image is gone. Open it back up. I don't know, maybe I wanted to put a photo in there. I could just drag the photo over here and then close. Now there's another image there. Now that's not how the images in the report are going to work. But remember, an exhibit could be any kind of image. It could be a photo, it could be a scan, it could be a PDF, anything. Okay. All right. Now to kind of show you how the concept of the dynamic report works, we're going to come back over here to the subject property. Okay, so first of all, I want to put a front view photo in. So I'm going to double click. Remember, just like in the regular UAD 2.6, your photo sections, your photo spots, your spots for photos, your image boxes are going to be purple because we've got our color key down here and purple is an image field. So if I double click there and I'm going to put the front view photo in there, let's say it's this one, just double click it, boom, goes right in there. All right, so there's my front view photo. I'm going to just simply type in the address. And this works just like it did in the UAD 2.6. Charlotte, so I'm going to double click Charlotte, or I could hit F4, so I'll just hit F4, or I can just start typing CH, it fills in Charlotte for me, just like it did in the UAD 2.6. State is going to be NC, 28226 is the zip code. If anybody wants to go and look it up, this is the house I grew up in. I don't live there now, but that's my house. Unit identifier. So here's a good question. When I was helping Adam, who's the person who filled out the first UAD 3.6 report and submitted it, he was like, what's the unit identifier? So if you have that question, now most of you probably know what it is. I know what it is, but let's say I don't. So I'm going to come over here, open up Appendix F1, and we're going to type unit identifier. That's close enough. Here we go. Unit identifier, clarify example. That's not helping us. Let's go to the next one. Nope, that's not helping us. You might have to go through. Here we go. Information play. Okay, unit identifier. An identifier assigned by the appraiser that differentiates between multiple units on the property. Example, unit 1, unit 2, primary dwelling, ADU. So this is whatever you want it to be. This is assigned by the appraiser. Okay, so we're just going to say, let's pull it back up here. Unit identifier, yeah, just say, let's say primary residence, whatever. Alternate physical address, no. County, Mecklenburg. Everything's pretty much the same, just like it always was. Neighborhood name, blah, blah. Okay, now we get to attachment type. So a lot of people are wondering, how do I say that this is a condo report? Like so far, this could be, just a regular report. How does that work? Because I haven't opened up a condo report. I just opened up the regular URAR. Well, it starts right here. Attachment type. I'm going to select, obviously, ignore this because, well, let's just get it out of there. So we're going to right click. We're going to say clear. Okay. So attachment type, we're going to say it's attached. Okay. Now the report knows that I'm either talking about a duplex or a condo or a townhome or something like that. So as soon as I hit attach, a couple of things were happening off screen. They were happening under the hood in the report that I couldn't see. Okay. We'll continue going through here. Units excluding ADUs, one dwelling, outbuildings, no outbuildings, not a manufactured home, planned unit development. Yes. Now you see project information gets added into the report and it gets bolded out for me. So it's letting me know, hey, this just got added to the report. So I'm gonna have to go and fill out that section because I just said that it is a planned unit development. Property and project. Yes. Here we go. condominium, yes or no? I say yes. And now the report knows that I am talking about a condominium. So every field in this report from this point forward is going to be solely aimed at a condo report. Okay, so it's not going to ask me things that don't have to do with a condo. Specifically, if I come down here to the sales comparables, only fields that are relevant to a condominium report are going to be shown in here. Okay, so it hides anything that doesn't have to do with a condo report. Now, you might be wondering, how do comparables work? This is a good time to show you. We have finally added side-by-side comps. It's been requested for a long time. We put it in here. It's going to actually be backported into the UAD 2.6 reports as well. But this is how the side-by-side comparables work. I can just keep adding comps here. I can add as many as I want and just keep going out here to the right. The only photos they want of your comparables is going to be the front view photo. Here are the image boxes. If I want to add an image of it, just double click. And it brings up that image manager, or that, what looks like the image manager again. And it works like the image manager too. So I can go over here to pictures, and if I've loaded the images onto my hard drive or my SSD, I can select them, or I could use this to browse to a, to a memory card or something like that. Once I find those photos, if I want to add it, I'm just going to select this one. And there it is. Gets popped in there. And so you'll just do that for all of them. Now, of course, we will have the comp manager that will come in to play probably in late December or in January. And then you'll be able to use it just like you did in a regular UAD 3.6 report. Let's jump over. And by the way, there are automatic adjustments, and you can find them down here at the bottom. Sales comparables adjustments. This is a form within the report that won't be delivered with the report. This is just for your use, and it works very similarly to the automatic adjustments in Appraise-It Pro. If you've not used Appraise-It Pro yet, I do have a webinar on moving from Appraise-It Classic over to Appraise-It Pro. I would recommend that you go ahead and watch that webinar. We have a couple of them coming up as well if you want to do it live, but you can go to our YouTube page, which you can get to from the support tab up here. Go to YouTube. That's going to pull up the SFREP YouTube page here. And you click on live. And these are the upcoming ones. And then see, there's my smiling face right there. The new, where is it? The webinar, there's going to be one. Getting started with Appraise-It Pro. There you go. It's right there. So you can view that one. It's about an hour long. So what I want to show you now, we're going to close out of this report. Works just the same as it does in the regular UAD 2.6 reports. And I'm going to go to open, and I have my UAD 3.6 single family residential scenario report. This was done by the GSEs. This was done by Fannie and Freddie. Some of their information in here is a little weird, so just keep that in mind, that it's made for you. You won't actually see this, but just when you're viewing it, when I'm viewing it, you can see it's got a lot of errors because there's some weird information in here. But the whole purpose of this report was a demo report that we used in our certification process with the GSEs. They wanted to make sure that they gave us a report, and then they wanted to get it in XML version, and that's how they were testing it. But we can see things here. Go to subject property. It's got information filled out here. This one is actually detached. I had changed that at some point. But I can come through here. We can look at the market. Stuff's pre-filled out here. We can come in here to cost approach. Right now, it does not have a cost approach. Once again, this is just a placeholder. But if I did click yes, now the cost approach gets filled in below here. So that's kind of what you need to know in filling out one of these reports. Lots of check boxes, lots of pull downs. You're going to see these little add area. So I could click on add area, and I can add multiple areas, and that's what's going to add the actual little sections. So lots of little pluses and minuses, lots of check boxes, lots of pull down menus as well. It's real heavy on that. If you have any questions, I want you to use that live chat that is either going to be over here on the right-hand side, or it's going to be down along the bottom if you're on the desktop version of YouTube. If you are on the mobile version of YouTube, it's going to be below. And feel free to ask any questions that you have. Now, remember, I'm not doing CE, so I'm not going to really be able to tell you a lot about how you should fill this out or how you should gather this information in the field. But that's what the mobile apps are going to be for, and that's what the checklists are going to be for. Unfortunately, we don't have those checklists for you yet. They're going to be probably the end of next month, around Christmas time when we get those out. But you'll be able to print those out and take them in the field with you. What I would recommend you do right now is take your laptop with you into the field when you get your first assignment, and that way you can kind of be able to see the report while you're actually doing the measurements and your actual inspection. Okay. A couple of websites you're going to want to be able to go to. Of course, I went over earlier with you this one right here, which is fanniemae.com/UAD. And you're going to want to download that Appendix F1. Okay. It's in the second row, Appendix F1. You might as well go ahead and do that now. If you want to email me, matt@sfrep.com, I'll be happy to send this to you as well. I'll just send it to you in an email. If you can't find it, let me know. And you're going to want to put that on your desktop and have it ready so that you can reference it. The other website that I want you to definitely be aware of is going to be, let's see here, broadbandmap.fcc.gov. Now, how often is it that the federal government gets something right? But they did on this. This is the FCC National Broadband Map. There's going to be a question in here that is going to ask if the property can get broadband. And unfortunately, right now, they do not count satellite of any kind as broadband. That means they don't count Starlink, they don't count Project Kuiper, any of those low Earth orbit satellite services. Right now, they don't count that as broadband, okay? So you're going to need to look up an address. So 10949 Painted Tree Road. And it's going to autofill it for me. There it is. And there is 10949 Painted Tree Road in Charlotte. And it's going to tell me everything that is available at that address. This is the best, most accurate map that I've found. There's DSL reports, not accurate. This one's very accurate. So here it's telling me that at this address, I can get AT&T fiber to premise. You can get Spectrum cable, and you can get T-Mobile, which is T-Mobile home internet, which is 5G, cellular internet. Now you'll also notice that I can get HughesNet, and it says GSO satellite, and that means geostationary orbit satellite. And then Starlink, which is, they call it an NGSO, which is near geostationary orbit, which is not. It's a low Earth orbit satellite service, but they don't count that. They will. We've already brought this up to them. I'm pretty confident they're either going to, one, get rid of this question altogether, or they are going to count things like Starlink as being broadband, because it most certainly is. The big difference here is that HughesNet or Viasat GSO satellite, that is in geostationary orbit 26,000 miles up in space. And the problem with that is, and some of you may have used these services before, the problem with those services is that when you click on a link and it has to go 26,000 miles out to space and then 26,000 miles back down, then go fetch the page, then go back 26,000 miles up and 26,000 miles down, that can be about a second to a second and a half of lag. So it makes it seem very slow, and you can't do things like streaming very well on those services either. They're fast, but they're very laggy and unresponsive. So they don't count them as broadband. Now, with Starlink, you're only about 300 miles up, less than that actually. It's like 150 to 200, I think. So the lag of you bouncing up and down, way less than 26,000 miles. 300 or 150 is way less than 26,000. So even at the speed of light, it's very fast. Okay. So I anticipate this either going away or they're going to update it so that Starlink, when they originally did this, Starlink wasn't really a thing yet, because they've been working on this for like 4 years now. Okay, actually, let's take a look at some questions here. Remember, I want you guys to give your questions to me. I want to answer them for you guys, okay? Keith says, will the mobile app, there's a little thing in the way here, will the mobile app just do the floor plan, or will we be able to take all the required subject photos and then migrate into 4. Okay, yes. Both mobile apps that you will have available to you, one of them being Apex Portal, and the other one being Instaplan. So let me go over this with you. This is a very important distinction. Instaplan will be available first, but it will only work on an iPhone Pro or Pro Max or an iPad Pro because it needs that LiDAR sensor. So this is an iPhone 16 Pro. That is the LiDAR sensor right there. Okay. And I don't have my iPad Pro handy, but it has a very similar sensor. It will only work on those devices. So that's a drawback. The upside is that it's going to be available first. It does automatic sketching using that LiDAR sensor, what colloquially people call scan to sketch. It's something, I think it's an a la mode term, but that's what people call it. But it will most certainly have photos and it will have data collection. Cool thing about the photos with that app is as you're walking around, I'm going to be doing a webinar on it very soon. But as you walk around the house, there's a button on the screen that you can and it'll snap a photo for you. And it uses AI. It knows that photo is in the kitchen. It knows that photo is in the bedroom. It knows that photo is in a bathroom. So it's a super slick app. You guys are going to love it. And if you want to play around with it, Instaplan, look it up in the App Store. Remember, I don't even think you'll be able to see it if you're not on a Pro device. Okay. Which might be why, Patricia, you may not have been able to see it. I'm not sure because I only have Pro devices. So I'm going to have to borrow somebody's base model iPhone or something and see if it shows up. Well, actually, my wife has a iPad Air, so I'll look that up. The other app, but yes, data collection and photo support. The other app is going to be Apex Portal. We're developing that with Apex. It will work on any device, Android, iPhone, iPad, Android tablets, Chromebooks, everything. It will also have data collection and it will have photos and photo organization and it will have sketching, but it's going to be manual sketching, at least at first, manual sketching. And it doesn't use AI right now to find to label your photos. So you got to label the photos yourself. But with that trade-off, it'll work on any device. And it's a little bit more simplistic. They will be adding the scan to sketch with the LiDAR sensor. Once again, that will only work on the iPhone Pro and the iPad Pro, but they'll be adding that. I've been told somewhere in the spring. I've already seen a demo of it and it's pretty slick, but they haven't added it in yet, but it's coming. Let's see some more questions here. Steven, dwelling exterior, what would go in Windows surfaces square foot? They want you to, this can be one of those things where you're going to measure the window and most of the windows in the house are going to be the same size or they're going to be double up of the same size. So just measure the square footage of one and then multiply that square footage by however many windows there are. In my house, I think I have 3 different type sized windows. So, you're going to have to measure 3 windows, but there you go. Stephen also asks, and structure volume cubic feet. That's going to be a math thing. You're going to need to know the square footage. You're going to need to know the average ceiling height, and then do your math on that, the basic geometry on it. I'm not a math person. I'm a words person, but you can look up the formula. I'm sure it's a pretty easy formula. Let's see here. It was a Pro iPad found it. It's the purple one. Yeah, it is the purple one. That is, it's a matter of fact, here, I'll show you guys. Let me look it up here. If you do a search for Instaplan McKenna, here it is, Instaplan McKenna. Here it is. This is the website on it. And it'll kind of show you. It's a real slick app. They were at one of the Vegas shows. I think it was Valuation Expo. Really nice guys. They're out of California. Really cool guys and ladies. And they have a really slick app. We are going to be the launch partner for them. So they're going to be integrating with other software providers, but we are the launch partner for them. So we've been working with them very closely. Let's see. Stephen. Yeah. Okay. So that's all the questions I have for right now. If you got some more questions, please go ahead and get them in there. I think that's everything that I really wanted to kind of go over with you guys. Hopefully you've got a better understanding of how you're going to fill out these UAD 3.6 reports. I highly recommend that you do a appraisal report on your own house or do one on your sister's house or your mom's house or whatever. But I really think that you should play around with this and get familiar with it. But at the same time, in 40 minutes, I've gone over and taken all your questions on this. You'll see it's not that big of a deal. It's not that huge of a change. I know us appraisers or you guys, and I do it too. Believe me, I have my own, what do you call it? Anxiety issues that I deal with in the daily life. But I know that we get a lot really anxious about things like this. I hope you understand it's not going to be that big of a deal for you guys. So get familiar with it, play around with it. That way, when you get your first order, you're going to feel much more comfortable with it. And make sure that you have that PDF handy because I think you're going to be using it. And I think it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. Now, if you guys come up with a question after we're done here, and I know that a lot of you are watching this pre-recorded, you're watching the replay of this. I want you guys to be able to get in touch with me and ask any questions that you have. So I'm going to give you my contact information here. So go ahead and get a pen and paper ready. You can email me directly, training@sfrep.com. Training@sfrep.com. You can also, of course, contact our tech support either via email, tech@sfrep.com, or if most of you know this already, 800-644-4051. But I also want to give you my direct office number. Now, if you call this number, chances are I may not answer it. You can leave a voicemail, but what I would encourage you to do is to text me. We have a fancy voice over IP system that we use. Well, I work from home. This is my home office, just like most of you do. But on my phone and on my computer, I can get text messages at this number. So I encourage you to text me if you can. That number is area code 828-919-9082. All right. Once again, 828-919-9082. I don't have a title card for that yet. I need to make one. But feel free to text me at that number. You can call too. And just understand I may not answer because I'm usually busy. But I also very often can answer questions that you might have even after business hours because it dings my phone and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. But if you need immediate assistance, I would encourage you to go ahead and contact our tech support. That's why they're there. And once again, that is 800-644-4051. Okay. I don't think we have any more questions. I want to thank you guys for showing up on a Thursday. And I didn't give you a ton of forewarning that this was happening, but I will try to do a better job of that in the future. I do encourage all of you to visit blog.sfrep.com. This is it right here. And we've got some cool blog posts in there. One of them was collecting UAD 3.6 data in the field. I go over in this article a lot of the different ways that we are going to support you collecting data in the field. And then, we got our press release here about the first UAD 3.6 report having been submitted, and it was done by using our software. Wasn't one of our customers, actually. It was a a la mode customer, but a la mode is not ready for UAD 3.6, so they became a demo user of ours and used Appraise-It Pro to deliver that report and liked the experience, and they're going to become a customer of ours, I think. So, well, at least hope. I'm gonna keep at him. I'm gonna make sure he gets transferred over. Hope all of you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much, and I look forward to talking to you guys in the near future. Y'all stay safe out there. Bye-bye. Oh, and of course, happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas coming up. You like the little hat there. All right, bye guys.